Welcome in, guys, to DC On Screen. I'm your host, David C. Robertson, and this is my co-host, Jason.
Hi!
Man, this is the first news episode we've had in a couple weeks, and there's still not a whole lot.
People have taken the holidays to heart already.
They have. But, be that as it may.
I have an actual working theory for this. It's that executives, being the kind of the person who have earned the title executive in their life, are therefore two things. One, in charge of the news that we rely on to make these kind of episodes happen. And two, in charge of their own life in the sense that they're doing their Christmas shopping now and not on the 23rd and 24th.
Right. Yeah, so there is...
Or at least they have an intern doing that shipping for them, whatever.
Right. There is enough news to actually talk about it for a minute, and I just kind of wanted to go ahead and get into that so we don't have to... Like last year on the MCU cast, man, they kind of took the 2 or 3 weeks leading up to Christmas off, and when they came back, they had like a 3-hour episode of just news. Just news.
No, we're going to spread that out nice and long.
Yeah.
Slice of butter on French bread, buddy.
Yeah. Now, I just figured we'd kind of get into some easy stuff right now.
Sure.
Take it nice and slow. Did you know that Andy Warhol made a Batman movie?
God damn it, Dave. How the fuck do you call that nice and slow? In what possible universe is that? That's actually less striking than the first time someone told me that Salvador Dali had made a movie. I thought I was blown away then, and then, actually go watch Un Chien Andalou if you ever want to. It's a bizarre waste of 22 minutes of your life. But
I've seen that movie.
It's strange, and some of the images will never leave you.
No, some of them haven't. I still wake up. I can't eat a boiled egg without thinking about some of those images.
Right? Yeah. Every time I see a piano, the world changes. But Andy freaking Warhol, huh?
Yeah, he was a big Batman fan. So back in 1964, he decided to make his own Batman movie. And apparently this thing doesn't fully exist anymore. What
year was it?
1964. It was roughly an hour. No, sorry, roughly 1 hour of the film has been lost.
Oh.
So
the film.
what they have is 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And
back in the day, average runtime was 80, 90 minutes around that time. It didn't start getting into 2.5, 3 hour, oh my god, I have to pee fests until very recently.
Yeah, people had stronger bladders back then.
Because
I can't go
They didn't
20
have to
minutes.
test them. Yeah, I guess so.
I can't go 20 minutes. I'm pause and arrow.
I would like to see a chart of increase in sizes of drink versus increase in bathroom breaks, and just see if it's actually bladder strength that's increased. Sheer willpower on the side of the moviegoer.
Yeah, I don't even buy drinks when I go to the movies. So,
well, you got to get the small ones so you can put some. You got to have something to put the singles in.
Nah, man,
just going straight laced.
Sure, straight edge.
I want to soak up all of this terrible experience.
Yeah. Well, I want to be able to coherently bash a film, So yeah, the Andy Warhol movie, man, it was called Batman Dracula, and the bad guy in the movie was Dracula, and the good guy in the movie was Batman. And apparently, it's pretty. Well, the article that I read called it campy and incredibly peculiar. The script was written by Tyler Duncan and stars Jack Smith as Batman and Dracula.
Oh, both sides, huh?
Yep.
Of course.
Yep. They also say this movie is about Batman having to face an overwhelming evil villain that is associated with his own fear and himself. A classic thriller created by Andy Warhol, who gave it a poetic justice about fear. Now, I tried to watch the 20 minutes that they have, and it looked like a whole lot of horse hockey, man. It looked crazy. It was black and white and kept kind of fading into big pictures of faces, and it just looked real, real bad. And DC on screen, the title be damned, man. I don't think I can handle this one. I'm pretty sure. And plus, I kind of feel like it's not even complete. I'd actually, if I could watch the whole thing, I might actually sit down and try to bare knuckle through it. But I don't think I can.
I think if there was the whole other hour, I might really try it one night. It might be a real sit down, get your loved ones near you for moral support. It would take some real planning and some real fucking gut, I think, probably to get through an Andy Warhol film. But I think I'd try.
Well, yeah.
Damn, though.
I think I would try if I actually had the option to look at look at all of it and actually see it in this entirety. But
I mean, only 20 minutes of that. I mean, you're looking at, what do you say? It was like an 80-minute runtime originally.
It was about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes, something like that. Then, so
I mean, so you've got 20-25% of the film at your disposal, and you're supposed to extrapolate from that tiny thing maybe what Andy Warhol was up to. Andy Warhol is the kind of guy where if you have 99% of the data, I don't think you should try to extrapolate that other 1%. Just leave that to luck or whatever you do, but don't bet your scientific career on it.
Oh, yeah. So there's a Tumblr out there I want to talk about. You said you'd probably leave it by the wayside if we talked about it, but damn, it's actually pretty fun, man. It is. Someone is collecting all of the Batlabels from the 1966 Batman series. Like, they always had like the anti-crime voice analyzer, Bat computer, that kind of stuff. All
right.
These big larger than life labels on everything.
Right.
Including one on their television that said television.
Right. In
the Bat Cave.
Didn't the phone actually say like Bat phone?
Yeah, I think it did. Actually.
It's been a minute. I mean, when you didn't like the poles, they slid down. They said like Bruce Dick.
Yep, it did. And like a little below that, there was a big sign that said like automatic outfit changer or something ridiculous.
Right. I swear, I've always thought that what happened was one of the stage managers in charge of blocking put up a bunch of signs. And no one thought to actually tear them down before they started filming, and everyone thought, fuck it, we'll use it.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Really, the only thing I come up with.
Man, some of these labels are just ridiculous, and they're kind of just in the background, but this person's collecting them. I don't know if it's a guy or not. But it's on Twitter, twitter.com/Batlabels. They got one, this metallic confetti, assorted red, green. They got a sign that says super fast hardening plaster. Oh man! Giant lighted lucite map of Gotham City.
They have shark repellent
in the Batcave. Yeah, that is entrance to subterranean grotto.
Nice.
Rare art map.
I'll tell you what. Though,
actually on the rare art map.
On inexplicably enough, a rare art map. I would
control
really
bat tester.
Here's something you could do to really like test. To just see who your real friends are. Like, just take a bottle of whatever the hell, like, aerosol can you can find at the store, rip the label off, put shark repellent on it, throw it up on your utility shelf, whatever it is, wherever you keep, like, miscellaneous cleaning and home supplies.
Yeah.
And every time you have a friend go in and be like, hey, you have paper towels, blah, 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 and just start laughing when they see that, that's a friend for life. That's a person you need to keep in your life.
Yeah. Dude, they have what appears to be a flip phone, and it says gossip phone.
Oh god!
These are all screenshots from the old Adam West '66 series.
Uh-huh.
It is ridiculous how Bat File. They actually have a rocket called Getaway Rocket. There's a sign on the rocket.
Just this is the kind of people where you go to an escape hatch and it says escape hatch, and then right behind it, visibly behind it, escape pod, escape door, escape lever.
God, where was the one that I saw? There was one that I saw it the other day. I've been looking around at this site. I don't remember what it was called, but it was something ridiculous. It just cracked me up. If I can find it real quick, I probably won't be able to. But it was like one of the longest labels I've ever seen for anything, and it was just ridiculous.
Please pause while Dave finds a thing.
God, Alfred bringing the milk in. I think that's milk in like wine glasses or something. That's ridiculous. This has become a mission for me. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Priceless jeweled antique scorpion. It's actually on the box. That wasn't what it was. But rare old books on the treasures of the Incas.
Wow.
This is a giant sign on a bookshelf. Rare old books on the treasures of the Incas.
That's bad.
But so wonderful. Really, it's been so long since I've seen the old Adam West series. I really want to go back and watch it.
I understand. I really do.
Anyway, on to other things.
Available on Blu-ray now.
It is. It is available on Blu-ray.
I pitched that with absolutely no recourse to myself.
Right.
I stand only to lose money by knowing that there's Batman 66 on Blu-ray. Because every time I go to Best Buy and walk past that end cap, it's $120 that I have to choose actively not to spend.
It is.
No, Jason, you have bills, man. You got student loans still. You can't fucking get Batman 66.
Yep. The Bat will eventually win, though.
I don't know. Maybe I can hold him off till, pay those off, for God's sake.
Right.
A man can try. Bruce would be proud of me if I was prudent with my money.
Sure.
Well, Batman would. Bruce Wayne would be like, what the hell you doing, man? Buy a cocktail and a waitress. Scribble a note on a hotel receipt. Buy the hotel. Do it on credit.
So, do you ever remember an episode of Justice League Unlimited called This Little Piggy?
Yep. It was glorious.
Well, fans have been clamoring for Kevin Conroy. They've been begging him for years to release a full recording of Am I Blue?
Oh, has it happened?
And he finally did it. He did it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
You can pop over there and grab it from his website, realkevinconroy.com. He does a whole version of the song.
God, bless that man.
In the episode, he has to sing at the behest of the sorceress Circe. She's turned Wonder Woman into a pig, and he's exchanging something for Wonder Woman's sentience, I guess.
Well, Wonder Woman's still sentient. She's just running around as a pig.
Well, they didn't think that she was fully sentient, but at the end of the episode, she starts humming. So Am I Blue? So she actually was. She heard what Batman did for her.
Right. Who is it? There's somebody else in that scene that actually gets to see it.
Oh, that's Zatanna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Zatanna.
Yeah. He goes through the first verse, and Cersei's like, all right, he held up his end of the bargain. I'm a person of my word or whatever. I
forget what it was. I think she wanted to have it's something about a true moment or something like that. She wanted to have a truly human moment.
Yeah, something like that. And God, it's been forever since I've seen it, but she almost stops him. She says he doesn't have to do it anymore. And Zatanna's like, "Oh yeah, no, not on your life. He's finishing this song."
Okay, I've got what I needed. Shut your mouth. Shut your whore mouth. I'm gonna listen to the rest of this song.
It is great because he's up there singing, they play it up before the commercial break. She's like, "Oh, I need something from you that you've never revealed to anyone, something soul shattering, something." And then it cuts back and he's singing "I Am Blue,"
right?
And it pans over and everyone in the place is captivated. And
he kills it. He fucking brings the house down. There's just not a dry eye in the house.
No, including Zatanna and Cersei. They're sharing a handkerchief.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's an unequivocally silly moment in the annals of the Bat, but it's one of those that I wouldn't trade for nearly anything. Right.
You get to the end of that, and I think he's asking Wonder Woman, do you remember anything from when you were a pig? She's like, no, it was really all kind of a blur. And then she walks off humming, "My Blue."
Yeah, it's good.
You just see him kind of. It's the scowl behind the cowl right there.
Yeah, man. So there's a whole bunch of rumors. We're actually going to get into some currently in production stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of rumors that Will Smith's going to be showing up in a Batman solo film as Deadshot.
I haven't had a problem with that yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not confirmed or anything, but he is signed up for a multi-picture deal.
Yeah.
So whatever. I'm good with that. Now, this is Monday, the 14th, and man, I signed on to Facebook, and number one on trending was this humongous Batman v Superman news. Chris White sent it my way as well, sent it our way, and for a minute I was actually kind of upset. I was like, this is super spoilery, and it was one of those spoilers that it seemed like one of the designers, set designer or something, was saying
I thought it said
I'm not going to get in.
Production designer.
Yeah, production designer. There you go. I'm not going to get into all the stuff he supposedly said, because another site is claiming that's all a hoax. You can't find it anywhere. So I'm really hoping it's a hoax. But the general idea of it, just so you know what I'm talking about, is they say that Doomsday is only going to be in the second act of BVS, and he's not the main villain. Now, I suspect that is wholeheartedly true. They actually went into other details that I won't get into because it starts to really seem like something that I've had in my head for a minute. But
yeah. Well, I mean,
if it's not true, it's not true.
Remember when we had Matt on, we were talking about there's the possibility that it's not as spoiler as we thought it was, the trailer itself. That this really was a trailer for a movie that you don't know anything about yet. Now, it was hard to believe because it feels like when you watch that trailer, it's like a mini movie. It's It's like the elevator pitch for what would happen if you let, one of our fanboy asses say what we wanted to do with the movie kind of thing. Well, we're going to have Superman and Batman and one. But there was always that possibility that it was really just not enough information. Because total for the entire film, it's probably going to be like a 2.5-hour film, maybe some change. We've seen 5 minutes, maybe 6. I mean, we've seen a pittance. So there was the chance that we really were just being that far misled, and it opened up this whole world of possibilities as far as, okay, well, that could be an extremely clever mislead where we get there and we, can't even wrench ourselves out of the seats when we're done watching this film because it was just so well thought out and we had completely different expectations and, oh my God, you nailed it. But there was also the chance that we were going to get in there and then it was going to be a bunch of weird twists that didn't really make sense and felt kind of forced. And by the end of it, it was going to be such a weird, twisty, like melange of strange ideas that we kind of wished the trailer was the real movie.
Yeah, there's a real fear for me that I don't know. This damn trailer is just a prelude, and the movie itself is going to be like a damn Thanksgiving turkey at Mike and Molly's house. You know what I mean? It's just going to be so stuffed. It's going to be bad.
Just anyone
I don't
at
know,
Mike and Molly's house on Thanksgiving. Just plain stuffed.
Just stuffed. I don't know. Like, there's certain things I know for certain are going to be in this movie that Jason doesn't know are going to be in this movie because I accidentally saw some stuff. But
right, and
I'm not saying anything about that. I'm trying to stay away from that. But
no, Dave is kind enough to fall on the sword on me for that. And I try to do this for you when I run across something that you haven't seen, but I just want to go watch the movie. I'd be okay if there was zero news between now and March.
Yeah, I would too.
That would not hurt my feelings one bit. I don't need to know anything. I don't need to have set pics. I don't need to have any of the designer for this coming up behind it. I just want to go watch the film.
But yeah,
and be disappointed in my own right.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping that's not going to happen.
It's funny because I watched the trailer a few more times because we had our big trailer review, our second trailer review, and I watched it a few more times. I showed some folks. I showed my mom. She's a big Batman fan. Got me into it.
The woman that introduced you.
Yeah.
We're all forever thankful.
I was like, well, Doomsday looks like shit. And she was like, no, he doesn't. He does, but he doesn't look as bad as, the Hulk did in the Avengers, which kind of took me back a little bit, But she might have a point. I'm not even sure anymore. It's gotten to the point where I don't know anymore how I feel about these things. It really has.
I understand.
But, importantly, though, I did some soul searching on the Batman idea. I thought, Dave, because I complained a lot about the Batman flinching and the saucer-eyed Batman, and then I kind of thought, well, what's your favorite Batman? And of course, I didn't even have to think about it. It's a Batman animated series.
Yeah.
Done. And he gets saucer-eyed in that plenty of times. Oh my God, Jim, no.
Yeah.
Harvey, no. And I've seen him flinch and put his hand up. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna
They even did poor cliffhangers in the episode "The Man Who Killed Batman." Fantastic, top 10 of that series episode.
Yeah. So maybe I'm
right as he's about to go off the edge, and what is obviously like an Act 1 cliffhanger, he gets saucer-eyed.
Yeah, and so I've kind of jumped back on that a little bit and said, well, maybe I was being too harsh on the Batman. Maybe I was being too harsh on Affleck and Snyder. So I'm still hopeful. There's a flicker of hope.
That's a lot. That's a lot for you some days. That is though.
I'm pulling back. I am. And even if the CGI doesn't look the best it could, what am I complaining about? Honestly, I mean, my favorite iteration of this character is from a cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
So,
what do you really care?
Worst case scenario, I just sat down and watched another cartoon.
Right.
And I'm the guy that thinks that Batman Mask of the Phantasm was the best Batman movie that's ever been made.
So far, I can't prove you wrong on that.
In the theater, yeah. So,
I mean,
yeah, that's what we know.
I can speak volumes about why The Dark Knight, short of the rest of that trilogy, was a really good film, but we've done that. We've also pointed out it has serious flaws, but I don't know if I've delved so deeply into Mask of the Phantasm that I could... you know what's sad? I'm just not sure it actually has that many flaws. It's actually a pretty tightly written little film. It's kind of pretty straightforward, pretty good fucking tale.
Well, in reference to, whether Batman flinches or whether he doubles down, is he a bat god? Is he more, it's really hard to, is he campier? It's really hard to really say that there is a definitive version of the character that you have to stand by, because he's been around for like 76 years.
Yeah. It's okay to have things that you love about the character, but I don't want to go full Grant Morrison and be like, well, there are many iterations, and I don't want to go. But
he's right,
that
though.
way.
He's right.
But I will think of it like I want to pull back just a little bit and think of it like this: the people in your life that you love the most, the people that you would literally die for, there's still things about them you don't like,
right?
That you would change if you had the chance. No one's perfect, and no iteration of any character is ever going to be perfect. But it can still be enough that I'll love the fuck out of it.
Right. I'm a little afraid that I'm becoming that asshole who is just digging deep into one aspect of the character, one version of the character, and I don't want to let go of that. And because I'll sit here. It seems hypocritical that we sat here and like squeed for an hour and a half over Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and
such a campy ass like.
Yeah, and then we're gonna bitch about Batman in the new Batman trailer. We haven't even seen much of it.
Right.
So I'm willing to give it up, but the one thing I'm willing to pull back on that and say, well, it might be a different take, but it's definitely going to be a slightly different take at the very least than I've seen before. So far he looks great.
Let me put it this way: like if they didn't do at least a slightly different take, I'd be a little disappointed. I mean,
well, yeah, sure.
I agree with Brandon Davis's comment about no one gives a fuck about your artistic vision. Okay, that I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to to be given a character like Batman, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, take the character, respect everything you've been given, and try something new.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important thing. Otherwise, you're just regurgitating a bunch of crap you saw before. And come on, it may not always be something we like, but you got to respect that someone tried, even with a character that we just fucking adore to this point.
Yeah, and I want to stand by what Grant Morrison said. Like, there are many different takes of the character, and they're all valid. I can't because the Chris Nolan trilogy exists.
I want to pull back slightly from they're all valid. There are people that I really do think don't get it. Like, don't get some of the point. And
I sincerely believe that Christopher Nolan is one of those who do not get it.
Granted, it's don't get it from my perspective. It's syllogistic. It's what it is. That's always how it's going to be. You're always talking about your perception versus everybody else's. Go look up Berkeley if you want some freaking philosophy to deal with. But it's always going to be your version of reality versus anybody else's, and you have to accept other people's versions. I'm trying so hard where you're like, you know what, Nolan, I'm sorry, buddy, doesn't work. And Goyer, you can blow myself too. I don't know.
Right. I mean, I can accept the fact that there are people out there whose version of Batman, clearly Goyer is one of these people.
Right.
And Nolan's one of these people. Like, there are people out there whose version of Batman is just Bruce Wayne, who's reluctantly being the Batman most of the time, trying to find an out. On the other hand, I can hate Dark Knight Rises because it's a shitty movie.
Right.
Beyond anything with Batman being Batman or how long he took off or anything else, there's plot holes. There are real problems with that movie.
It's a film that is not a good film. Period. And then there's all kinds of Batman problems we can come up with on top of it.
So at the end of the day, that's where I'm sincerely worried for Batman v Superman. But I am trying to remain hopeful. So I know we've been accused on this show of being too negative in the past. So
which I'm sure was right.
But this is. Keep in mind, this is almost catharsis for me. This is just me working through shit on a weekly basis. But I thought we could all work through it together.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of you people out there who are as messed up as me.
Right. That part's just invariably true. It's the one version of this line where I really appreciate it. It's the goddamn Batman. He means something. I mean, this is a 76-year-old character now.
Yeah.
And he's changed over and over and over again. But, that's 3 to 4 generations worth of people that have all, bought this product and cared about this character, whatever version it was. And, if you're like a young fan, if you're probably late teens, I want to bet, and you're talking to like I want to say early 50s, maybe early 50s, mid 50s grandfather. You probably have 2 different versions of Batman in your head when you're talking about him completely. But I bet you both love him.
Yeah. So, I guess moving on to some other stuff, but still kind of in the same vein. Stephen Amell split the internet in 2 the other day.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah. Actually, he just got a huge backlash, really. I mean, there were people who stood up for him, but Someone asked him who would win in a fight, him or Batman or Green Arrow. And Amell said, me. No, I wasn't mad at him, even though I think Batman would totally beat Green Arrow, because I don't think...
No, did he mean me or Green Arrow?
Yeah, that's what the first thing I thought. I just thought, like, is he talking about Green Arrow, or is he saying that he would just win because whoever won, it would be an awesome fight? Like, like just the fact that he got to see it.
Oh, hadn't thought about that. That would be absolutely true. Yeah, if you just bought that ticket, as soon as you sit down and the match begins, you've already won. It doesn't matter what happens afterwards.
Right. I don't know. I'm not interested in raking the guy over the coals for anything, really. So, moving on, but that's the thing that happened.
I mean, shit, from what I thought I'd seen, it was, I didn't look closely at that headline, but I thought he had just said that he thought Green Arrow would win.
No, he just said me.
Just plain me.
From what I know, from what I understand, yeah.
Well, then we get into all kinds of the other questions. Like, do you mean me as Green Arrow? Do you mean me? Do you mean Green Arrow? Which...
Hey, man, whatever. It's open to interpretation, I guess.
Yeah, and that's how you get the internet to fucking, eat you alive, is leave something open to interpretation.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to think that's the only way you can actually really become famous anymore, is just say a bunch of shit out of context and the internet will blow up around you.
Well, you already mentioned Andy Warhol.
Right?
He's kind of OG as far as just saying some shit, see what happens.
Yeah.
I tell you this, though, I stand by Stephen Amell, no matter what his answer was.
I do, too.
He's earned that much from
agree
me.
with him. I don't agree with him, probably. Most likely.
Think about it this way. I may not completely agree with him, and I'm beyond certainty that he has no idea who I am. But I stand with him anyway.
I've been watching way too much Evil Dead shit, because the first thing that I thought of was just the dude going, I'll bend my bow to your will, sir, from Army of Darkness.
That was a line Peter Jackson wishes he had.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's a great line. Oh. All right, let's get into some rumors. We talked about this, actually, and if this happens, we called it. Mm-hmm. Or Jason specifically called it. A whole bunch of headlines in the last couple of days about Felicity might be Oracle. Now, I mean, if you didn't see the last episode of Arrow, just plug your ears or something. Go cry into a coffee can. Because,
like most podcatchers will save your place, go back, do all that.
Right.
We're
going to talk about this for a second.
When you get back or whenever that happens.
Last episode of Arrow, spoilers, Felicity gets this, just riddled with holes, it looks like.
And not in the normal Stephen Amell way.
So everybody's like, yeah, not in the normal Stephen Amell gets riddled with holes, and 5 minutes later he's, shoving, I don't know, a piece of gauze in a hole and running out onto a balcony somewhere to jump.
He's fine. No problem.
Yeah.
And
we're talking about, like, blood coming up out of the mouth, passed out, looks like she's dead already kind of shit.
Right. Like, I think the shock had already set in kind of thing. It looked bad for Mrs. Smoke. No, Miss Smoke.
That is leading, that's leading a lot of the clickbait people to sit around and put up headlines that you might be misconstruing as actual news. But insofar as we're concerned, it's just rumor, but it is a possibility, especially with her getting shot the way she did. Maybe she's paralyzed. Maybe she winds up in a wheelchair. Maybe, in fact, she goes on to become Oracle.
It's at least possible.
It is at least possible. It's looking more and more possible. I'm honestly, best case scenario for me is she says that she would be okay with being called Oracle, but the name has already been taken. Or if she does become Oracle, that there used to be a hacker named Oracle, which would allude to the fact that Barbara Gordon was at one point Oracle, but is now Batgirl again, like it is in the comics.
At that point, you don't have to mention Gotham. You don't have to mention anything. You can just say there was a hacker in the sense that she used to have a hacker pseudonym as well. Mm-hmm. You can just say that used to be a thing. Move on with your day.
Now, the producers have said that that it has crossed their minds. It's crossed all their minds that,
how could it not?
Felicity could be Oracle. Well, I mean, you say that. Like, how could you not? But I need that kind of assurance from the producers. The fact that they actually do just have, like, the brains to do that. To say, like, oh, yeah. Because so often you see Arrow and you're like, some of you guys there's something wrong. I don't even know what to say, but there's something wrong.
The character you're writing right now.
And then,
you present
your issue, you present your issue and say, well, look, here's their problem. Like, the comics, they did this, and I understand you got to be different from the comics, but, you know, what are we going to do about this? This isn't really the character that you promised us. And then they go off in their little diatribe. Well, this is a prequel, and it's not quite, you know, that character yet. And, you know, we have that whole...
There are a lot of ways in and out.
How does it go? That old chestnut?
Yeah. But so with Oracle, my thinking was, you know, she's already acting as Oracle. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I was focusing on. She's already doing the job, and they've already mentioned that she needs a code name. So for me, that's just the most obvious thing. I didn't know that they had ever thought about it. Completely missed this piece of news from like a year ago and some change. Mm-hmm. But episode 305 that eventually became the Secret Origin of Felicity Smoke, originally in pre-production, that was actually titled Oracle.
Yep.
They changed it. But apparently, as of at least a year ago and some, well, you know, at least a year and 3 months, you know, up to and including whenever, it's at least been on their mind that, yeah, man, this character's basically acting like, you know, Paralyzed by Robert Gordon.
Oh, you know what would have been badass is if on that show, on that episode, instead of having like the hacker boyfriend, what they did is or maybe she still had the hacker boyfriend, but she was so good that maybe she had like a roommate, and the roommate had red hair and was named Babs and offered the name Oracle to her. Like, oh man, you should be called, like, your hacker name should be called, should be Oracle or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been badass.
That would have made me very happy. It also would have been.
Didn't have to say it was Gordon.
Like, this was what was it now? Like, we're only 3 weeks into the who knows what could happen post Diane Nelson gaining a flicker of sense era,
or a flipper of sense. Right, Christopher White?
What up, buddy?
Flipper.
I actually wanted to. I really did when we talked about like the rumors and the prank, well, possible prank, possibly hoax, whatever. I wanted to pitch in for a second and be like, and this is our Bat Wieners and Flipper Hand section.
Oh man, yeah.
It at least retroactively is that segment of the show here.
Yeah,
but when they were doing Arrow,
that's just too hard to explain to a general person who doesn't know what's going on. But Christopher White's one of our friends and fans of the show, and he really wants us to just, whenever we have a segment where we just rattle about random things or really stupid things in the news, he wants us to call it the Flippers and Bat Wiener section, and that's from a few episodes back. But yeah, and
the you know, we kind of almost rotely refused to name a segment because that would be way too much guidance and discipline for us to actually uphold. But in spirit, that's pretty much what these sections are. Anytime we start rattling off at any point, just think Bat Wiener.
Yeah, Flippers and Bat Wieners.
Flipper hands and Bat Wieners.
What? Yeah.
Or just, in short, fuck you, Michael Shannon.
Right. You can thank Michael Shannon for the Flipper hands. You can thank, sadly, me for Bat Wieners, I think.
I'm pretty sure that was. I don't recall. Pretty damn sure that's your fault.
You wouldn't lay claim to it anyway.
I would like to walk as far away from Bat Wiener as possible.
Wouldn't we all?
Right.
But some men carry the scars of their sins, man.
It's gonna haunt you in a few years. You'll understand why then. The Arrow scene though, that would have been, if they had brought up a Babs, actually had one on screen in particular, that would have been way too far, way too close.
Fan wanker, you say?
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have thought, like, at the time the line they were towing was, well, we can't, have the character here and can't have it there because it's oversaturation. I don't disagree with the philosophy outright. I just thought that the line they were holding was way too close.
Yeah.
Like, in particular, you couldn't have the Joker here. We had this amazing, God, I've already forgotten, who was playing Jerome? Do you remember the name?
Oh, I'll think of it.
Oh, how quick we forget.
Cameron Monaghan.
Thank you. Good job.
Look, man, we got 5 different shows and a number of movies coming up, and I'm supposed to remember all these damn names, and most of them are names I can't pronounce. Give me a break.
But you got it there, and I'm going to stop to appreciate it. But, dude, Jerome was an amazing character, but they could never call him the Joker. But that was that was before this time. I almost think that the response from him was part of what opened up the door to, like, people I know we're a little bit on the fence. I'd call myself about 67% on board with Jared Leto's Joker.
Mm-hmm.
1/3 of me is just really frightened, and the other 2/3 are like, man, I haven't seen this take before. Let's fucking do it. And I almost want to say that, like, surely the response. I mean, there are millions of people that are watching Gotham. This is millions, 4 to 5 million regular. Pics at 6 and 7 that are watching the show, and there were 6.5ish or so that were watching during the Joker episodes and were really digging him. So to say like, oh, we're going to oversaturate the character. No, these are the same times you're releasing like pictures of Jared Leto's Joker on Empire magazine and doing like deep cut stories about him behind the scenes and everything. We weren't oversaturated. I'm still listening to audiobooks like while I'm at work about, No Man's Land or some shit. There wasn't a point of oversaturation. I mean, I realize
hell,
it's
man,
probably a
I
special
think
case, but come on, we're dealing with this community.
A few weeks ago they were talking about that Flash Supergirl crossover. I think they do need to do that. I think we need John Wesley Shipp over on Gotham playing Henry Allen, the cop from
right.
the Barry's cop father from the 90s Flash series. Let's throw Ben McKenzie over on the Flash or on Arrow as a grizzled, ambiguously older Jim Gordon, who's commissioner now and talking to Captain Lance. And let's do all of that.
That'd be great.
Let's just do all of that.
I'd love to.
Yeah, I know we've got the doll maker, a couple different versions of the doll maker.
Just imagine him being aged up and like talking to fucking Joe and Quentin about what he learned when he had a vigilante in his town.
Well, like I think it was a couple of years ago, last Halloween, or not last Halloween, but the year before that, he actually went to a Christmas party, a Halloween party as old Commissioner Gordon, and he had like the white mustache and the white wig and everything.
That's awesome.
I believe that was the same year that Sean Pertwee just went as his dad
as number 3,
the third Doctor on Doctor Who.
Oh
yeah.
This is part of why this is part of why I enjoy doing this show so much. Don't get me wrong, man. We obviously have problems with episodes here and there, and
yeah.
Damn it, some of the actors doing this shit absolutely adore what they're doing, and that is hard not to feed off of.
Yeah, like I got my name put on a waiting list a few years ago, and they finally let me in, and now I'm part of this Doctor Who viewer survey thing.
Cool.
And I review every episode, and they ask me what I thought of it and give me all these questions. It takes me about 15-20 minutes, and the Doctor Who Series 9 just ended last week, I guess. And I went ahead and took the survey, and they asked me a whole bunch of new questions that I'd never seen before about what I thought of the series overall and what I would like to see. They specifically asked me what I would like to see in Series 10. And one of the things was like, Sean Pertwee is the third Doctor. Do like the two Doctors story. He's already said he'll do it. He's already said he'll play his dad. Did you not notice the internet blow up when he did it?
This is a done deal.
Please do that.
Moffat,
bring back Susan and Jenny.
I will find you his phone number. It'll probably be a few misdemeanors for me to find you Sean Pertwee's phone number, but I'll fucking do it.
Right. Like, you know what? I love him as Alfred on Gotham, but I can do without a couple of episodes so he can go play the Doctor.
Yeah, we do without him a couple episodes every now and then anyway.
Yeah.
You'll just be watching the season all happy with Tiny Bat, and, he'll just be gone for one episode, and hopefully you didn't notice because the rest of the episode was so good, but it's the name of the show is an entire city, so when it kind of bounces around, it happens.
Yeah. Oh, man. Should we get on with news?
Probably. At some point,
All
I just forget we're doing a news episode.
I know. It's okay. We're getting pretty close to Christmas, man. We're edging into semi-retirement for the rest of the year. So, not really. We'll still be back all the time.
Yeah.
We're not going to let you guys rest.
I mean, there's not a lot of news, but forgive me. Sweet Christmas. We have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh, man, going to the competition.
Damn straight I am.
There ain't no competition in my heart, man.
Alluding.
Ain't no competition in my heart, man. I love Marvel as much as I love DC.
Right?
Not as much as I love Batman.
That's actually not true. I do slightly like DC's products more.
Man, I go back and forth, but it depends on what it is. Like,
I would put it that way. If you made me pick one versus the other, I would choose DC. But, on any given point, on any given kind of character, like, all right, Deathstroke, for instance. Come on, Deadpool's a lot more fun. He's just
Deadpool is a lot more fun.
A whole fucking lot more fun.
He is a whole lot more fun. You know what I think DC has over Marvel? and this is usually backwards. People always say like the reason Marvel is better than DC is because their characters are relatable. You know, their characters worry about shit that you worry about. They're real people, and the DC characters aren't. They're gods. They are. They're kind of like the modern interpretation of the Greek gods and whatnot. And Marvel, they have like relatable characters. Yeah, like barely an interpretation, but the Marvel guys, like they're relatable. You can relate to them. Like, oh man, they have real problems, the problems that you have, but they just happen to have superpowers. But in a lot of ways, I feel like that is why DC is better. Like, I don't want to read a story about a superhero worrying about how to pay his rent. I really don't. I don't want.
There are people who love and hate Spider-Man, and I swear that's the difference. Like, there are people that really like to hear about this kid with his very daily troubles and how he has this whole other life. And there are people that just really want to hear about the whole other life. And, dude, fuck your, like, $200 a month.
But, you know, at the same time, that is the exact kind of pitch that I would use for something like Superman. Like, everyone's like, yeah, he is, that is exactly the thing I would do with Superman. Everyone says, like, Superman is such a boring character because you can't hurt him. Yeah, well, what if he's homeless?
Right.
You know, what if, you know, he's, like, right now in the comics, he's not Clark Kent anymore because Lois outed him.
Right.
Spoiler, sorry.
It's kind of weird in the comics recently. I'm having real trouble assimilating it into my previous knowledge.
I don't know, like, even before they went to this New 52, like, Clark and Lois were married, and they live in this, like, apartment in Metropolis, and I'm just thinking, you know, Metropolis has to be an expensive place, and I guess they're both Pulitzer winners or whatever, but they probably make enough money. But would it be more interesting if, like, we actually did dive into the fact that they were newspaper people, and the medium is dying, and they don't have that kind of money. They're you know, barely surviving, and Lois has to worry about actually becoming like one of these sleazy journalists on the internet who write, you know, headlines like, you know, Batman v Superman, Doomsday not in third act or something. Yeah. Like,
and that's real shit. I mean, I know a guy who just got laid off from like a major city newspaper for no good reason. I mean, it had nothing to do with his quality of work. They just couldn't support him anymore. He was damn good at what he did. They just plain didn't have money to give him anymore. And now he's kind of like, he's working for like a website, and he's clearly better than what he's doing right now. It is. It's a dying medium. I'd love to see Clark Kent, and in particular, I'd love to see Lois Lane have to do that. Yeah.
Right.
Perry White having to, like, tearfully lay these people off.
Which, you know, is... I mean, let's be honest. If anything ever
somebody
happened
telling
to
Jimmy
planet,
Olsen, anybody
actually...
with a phone can do what you do now, man. I'm sorry, I can't pay you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, in reality, all that would happen is, like, you know, Bruce Wayne would, like, buy the friggin' Daily Planet and would set them up to go more internet-based, and they'd still have their jobs. We understand
that'd be
but, you know...
really fun tweak, though, like... The Daily Planet basically has to shut down, or they kind of polarize in the sense that Perry White has the realization that he's going to have to lay off like a lot of, like 30% of his crew. And out of just pure anger, like just self-righteous anger, that 30% becomes 50% because all these other people just jump on board anyway. And like Perry himself, he's like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Fuck these people. We've worked for them for how long? We can do better. And then their angel is Wayne Enterprises that comes along and says, well, we need this. Starts up this entire new website, which obviously Cat Grant is already the leading mogul of that particular form of media. So now they have to compete with her again.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of the Marvel methods of characterization I would totally put onto a couple of the DC characters just because they are so boring. Like Superman. Like, I like Superman. I love Superman for different reasons, but I don't want to read a book. I don't. Well, I don't want to see a whole series based around him, because it gets tedious because they don't put enough relevancy inside of him. But something like
there are people
Batman,
that are there really are. There are
he
people
needs
that
to be
are
as far away from relevant as you can get.
Right. I agree. The more humanized you make Batman, in a lot of ways, it's completely paradoxical. I know, because the more human you make him, the less interesting he is as a character in some ways, and yet he's the human among gods that we so much relate with. Mm-hmm. He is though. He's the absolute zenith of what humans could be, and that part's important to me as a character.
But I am, that's why I'm really excited about the Flash, though, because I've always seen that part, the Spider-Man part of the Flash.
Yeah.
in that comic, but you've never seen the Flash has never been that big, but the TV show, like, he's actually getting there going to go to a Flash movie.
Right.
Like, Flash might be the next Spider-Man. In
damn
like
well
10,
could
15
be.
years, in 10, 15 years, like, the Flash could be the DC guy. I mean, Superman and Batman are the big wigs over at DC.
Yeah.
But in 10, 15 years, it could be the Flash. Like, Spider-Man and Wolverine have been, like, the big mainstays of Marvel, and
They're the big sellers. You attach their name to it, it sells, period.
yeah. And, you know, now they don't have Wolverine in their roster on the movies, so they've killed his character in the comics, and he ain't coming back, it looks like. And, I mean, I guess they've got Spider-Man back, so they're back to pimping him again.
Right. And he's not Dr. O anymore?
He's what?
He's not Dr. Octopus anymore? I'm confused.
No. Peter Parker came back a while ago. Yeah. Peter Parker came back, and there's also this kid named Miles Morales, and I think they're coexisting at this point.
Yeah, isn't he? I'm trying to remember. Did they recently write like an actual like a Black Spider-Man?
Yeah, that was he was.
Isn't that Miles?
Yeah, that's Miles. Okay. Everyone, well, he's Black and Hispanic. Everyone's calling him a Blaxican Spider-Man.
Oh,
I don't
God.
know. Thank you, Internet.
Of course. Why ruin it?
Sorry.
Thank
you. Sorry. No. Thank you, Internet, for ripping off Scrubs.
Right.
But yeah.
There's I don't know. There's an actual like minority Spider-Man that from what obviously I'm behind, but the reports I've been hearing, he seems to be killing it. Like, it seems to be a pretty cool character.
Yeah, there was a lot of vitriol over the fact that Miles Morales was not going to be the Spider-Man in the new Marvel stuff. Like, they're like, oh, they're going to reboot him. He's got to be Miles Morales, and it's got to be.
It was. Yeah,
it's got to be
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah.
Which, by the way, would have been fantastic.
It would have been fantastic, and it still could be fantastic. I'm just saying, before you get to Miles Morales, you need to get to Peter Parker. Let's do Peter Parker just for once. Let's do Peter Parker right. Just once. Or, not even right. It doesn't even have to be right. Let's do it well.
Right. Well, James Garfield was pretty...
Nah.
He was right. The stuff around him wasn't necessarily right.
Yeah. So, yeah, whatever. I'm actually pretty disappointed. I can't remember who they went with, but I'm actually kind of disappointed they didn't go with that kid from whatever, Ender's Game, Asa Butterfield.
I thought they were going to go with him for forever. I really did.
Yeah, like he looked like the classic like John Romita Sr., Steve Ditko, Peter Parker drawings. He did. He looked perfect. Anyway, but this is DC on screen.
And my last comment then.
That's okay.
I didn't understand because the Ender's Game kid looked really Peter Parker-y for a second, and then there are actually a couple of clips of the kid they actually cast as Spider-Man doing like backflips off his porch and stuff, and I thought, okay, all right, gotcha. So you can put this kid in the actual outfit, and he's going to do some of the stunts himself. All right, done deal. That being said, even going over to DC on screen and continuing even the same topic, like Jaime Reyes, I would love to see a Jaime Reyes version of Blue Beetle.
Oh yeah.
Love to, especially the character himself is more. It's actually a more powerful character by a very long shot than Ted Kord ever was. I mean, in a fight, this is a done deal. Well,
it was
extent, but
different kind of thing though. Like Jaime Reyes, the Beetle actually worked for him. The Beetle never worked for Ted.
No, he had to like extrapolate ideas from the idea of the Beetle and take certain parts of technology that he could glean off of the like barrage of fucking tests he would do on this thing. But no, Jaime just jumped on his back and was like, "What you want?"
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun though. I mean, I got to imagine as an illustrator, it was kind of like when you were handed Kyle Rayner kind of thing. Like, well, this kid's actually a graphic illustrator in his own right. So anything you can imagine, this kid would imagine too. Go crazy.
Yeah. You know what? I would love to just go up to DC to Warner Brother Animation and just be like, "Hey, we're doing this movie. Who are you? Don't worry about that. We're doing this movie. It's a multiverse epic. It's a multiverse epic. It's Blue Beetle teaming up with Batman from Batman Beyond." At that point, Bruce Timm just drops his head and goes, "And you want Will Friedle to voice both of them, don't you?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Just hangs his head. Okay, let me call Jeff, see if it's okay.
You don't have a plot, do you? Nope. Oh man. So let's get on to some Flash news.
We have news? Holy shit.
We do.
Settle back.
So I figured this was going to be the case. I think I did talk about that over on the Flash podcast that we did. Andrew Kreisberg, though, is saying Velocity 6. It is safe to say that there will be a few more iterations of that formula because it was Velocity 9 in the comics.
Right.
By the way, just FYI.
I can't remember though. Is Velocity 9 actually the same thing as the formula that like the Liberty team used?
No.
They are entirely separate entities, right?
They are, but they serve the same purpose, essentially.
Right. They both got them quick, but
yeah,
they were separate derivations. It's not like the vocal representation of that formula. We're not talking like an empirical formula here.
Well, the first one was just the speed formula.
Okay.
No, just call it something cool like Velocity 6. Get on with it.
That's cool. I
no reason to have two different versions. But,
just wanted to make sure I had the canon right in my head.
Oh, yeah. He says, it's safe to say there will be a few more iterations of the formula, how it plays out and how it works, and who uses it, and the effects that it has. That's something you'll have to watch. And I most certainly will, Mr. Kreisberg. I most certainly will.
I would love to have a direct line to Time Kavanaugh's agent, so I could guess whether he was going to be in season 3 of The Flash, because that would give me some hints about who's taking which iteration of the formula. Because if Velocity 9 ends up being in Harry's blood, especially in a world where he's already lost Jesse Quick, who the fuck knows what happens?
Well, there might be some entertainment. What the hell?
I hope there's some entertainment.
Sure. There might be some confirmation. I don't know why they got the entertainment out of confirmation on who might be using that formula. Yeah. Apparently they're talking about how like Teddy Sears is talking about how Jay Garrick's going to have to like worry about whether or not he's going to take that serum again, and whether or not he wants to go down that path. But there are pictures of him in costume fighting Geomancer in Vancouver.
Oh wow!
So being the dude who basically can manipulate the Earth.
Yeah, he's always reminded me of the guy in the last season of Heroes.
He reminds me of Proteus from the X-Men, but
that one too.
But he's more of a reality warper anyway. But Proteus is he's an Omega. Geomancer, I guess, is more. Geomancer is more like Avalanche from the X-Men.
There you go. Now we're.
I forgot about Avalanche for a second, and then I remembered that.
Let's pull it back a couple of levels.
Yeah.
To Avalanche.
Dick with a dick-shaped helmet. Yeah.
There's a few of those over in... Well, there's a few of those in any canon.
Right. There's just something about being a D-level supervillain that makes you want to put a dick-shaped helmet on your head.
I know. Or a surprisingly good superhero from a show that wrote you whole cloth. Looking at you, Diggle.
But yeah, Geomancer has geokinesis, which is apparently also called terrakinesis, which just makes me think of Barbara Walters trying to say telekinesis.
Yeah. I would love to hear her do a report on this kind of thing. I really would. Man. I like terrakinesis more. Terra's original form is Earth as in the dirt form, and Geo's original form is like Earth as in the global shape. Like for me, those are almost different grades of that ability. But what we know is you can move them.
Yep, that's what we know. Oh man. So there are also new set pictures of what appears to be Earth 2 Barry and Caitlin as Killer Frost, which I assume is also Earth 2. And Barry's wearing like a suit and a sweater vest and a bow tie. He looks like the 11th Doctor.
He really does.
He does.
I took one look at that cat and went, holy shit, Matt Smith. All right. Dock it up, buddy.
Yeah, like at first glance, I was like, oh man, that would be so awesome. Like I wasn't even excited about the picture. I was just like, oh man, I wish we could have Doctor Who on The Flash.
Right.
That'd be good. That'd be real good.
There are times.
That does seem creepy. Sorry.
You made that weird. Why did you make that weird?
I always make things weird.
It was so beautiful.
Now,
and you crushed it with your weird hand.
I did. With my weird hand. Alright, so, man. Apparently over the Flash, there's a show called The Truth Be Told, and an actor from that show, Tone Bell, has been cast as this. This is what they're saying. The new boss, Iris's new boss at the Central City whatever thing she works at. I don't remember the name of the place she works.
I don't remember either.
But her new boss, her old boss, was killed.
Central City Paper.
Picture something.
That's what I remember.
All right, so whatever. Her old boss was killed.
Yeah, I was sad about that. I like that guy. Always did. Like, I think I explained this before, but my mother watched soap operas like every day.
Okay.
She would record them and then watch them later that day. Like she would record them during the day and back in the VCR days, and then pop in the tape every night. And just being a child and hanging out in the same room, I saw many of them. And he was a guy named Todd, I believe. On I don't fucking remember the name of the show. They all sound the same, and they're all melodramatic. Like One Life to Live, General Hospital, or I'm just guessing one of those two. I don't fucking remember. But
I'm not looking it up.
I refuse to, almost out of principle. But I really did. I liked that guy, and he was like the one guy in the show where I was like, oh, this guy, and I was suddenly interested. And then I saw him on Flash and thought, Todd, awesome. Yeah. Yeah,
the one guy on soaps for me that was like that when I was a kid was John Delancey. Q himself from John Delancey is Q from Next Generation. Yeah. And he was on Days of Our Lives, and his character dated Arlene Sorkin.
Nice.
Who, as I would hope DC On Screen listeners would know, as the original inspiration and the voice actress who portrayed Harley Quinn on Batman the Animated Series. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We owe her much.
So, man, sometimes soaps do it right.
I mean, they had James Franco.
Right? There's nothing wrong with him.
I mean,
the Spider-Man movies he was a part of.
His choice of what script to be involved with aside, seems like a fine human being.
Well, James Franco is like a scattershot kind of guy. He just kind of pops in for anything as long as he can do it. Just as long as he doesn't already have something already like planned for that second.
Yeah, my weekend's free. You want me to be in this movie? Sure. Whatevs. Be right over.
Well, I told my girlfriend I just had to go pee, but sure.
But you need a cameo?
Like 10 minutes?
Cool.
You need 10 minutes? Okay.
What you need? She's got some makeup in the bathroom here. What do you
Actually,
need?
that's
a little rosy cheeked, a little.
That's a good point. I bet we probably could get him on the show.
Oh, don't tease me, Dave. Don't tease me with such ideas.
Right. Tone Bell has been cast as Iris's new boss and apparently love interest, Scott Evans. They're saying that the first thing he does is kind of come in and like throw out a puff piece she's writing about the Flash or something. It's going to be one of those tumultuous meet cutes, I guess.
Yeah. My initial worry is that I get a little bored with the... don't get me wrong, this isn't girl or boy based. I always get a little annoyed with this person mistreated me, therefore I'm interested. And then, it's not as bad as it sounded. I know he looks bad, or I know she looks bad, but I hope it did. They finally started doing some really fun stuff with Iris here and there. So I hope they don't kind of devolve into I know he seems like a dick, but look, does that seem possible at least?
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, really, all I had on that. I was just going to hope for it and move on.
That's fair.
End of thought. Shit. Casting news. Yeah. What do you want me to do? Prognosticate?
I know.
I have no human entrails. I'm out of tea leaves.
So they released a synopsis for the mid-season 2 premiere, Potential Energy. It says, after his intense fight with Zoom, Barry must face Mirror Master.
Oh, God, I've been looking forward to
Wally reveals a dark secret to Iris. That's what we got, man.
They said dark secret?
Yep.
He's going to be connected to Zoom somehow.
I don't know. You know what I bet it's going to be? I bet he's really not going to be. He's not going to be Joe's son.
Okay, that would be fun.
I bet you that. I bet you he's not going to really be Joe's son. I bet that awful woman
Francine
had an affair. And
Come
then
on,
left.
like the day after she left Joe. I mean, shit,
no,
they were pretty
before she
specific about
left
the timing.
Joe. No, before she left Joe.
Okay, that too.
Before she left Joe, she had an affair. Bet you anything that's what it's going to be.
God, yeah, you may be right.
He tells her that he tracked down his real father.
I was thinking more along the lines of like the dark secret is that he has speed, but he has to borrow it from people, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the big thing with Zoom is until he has existed, they haven't introduced the idea that you could borrow, steal, lend, or promise fucking speed powers to anybody. Mm-hmm. He's the first person with the ability to transfer it that we've actually met. Mm-hmm. If
I don't know.
him and Wally have something in common in that way, that would be A, interesting, and B, a really nice way to end the season 2 arc with Zoom.
It would be interesting. And a good way for Wally to get his powers and everything.
Right?
I don't know.
God, I mean, in Wally West, and you go back to some of the source material, and Wally West actually, on occasion, has proven to be, faster than Barry. It seems to even go generationally. Like, Impulse, if I remember correctly, has been faster than either of them on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It would be interesting. Oh, man. It would be interesting if he is from Earth 2, and he's been visited by Zoom, who knows he's from Earth 2, and then he's actually from the future, and that he is their nephew.
Oh, that'd just get into some weird shit.
Right? Like, not necessarily that he knows that they're.
My
he's just
first
like, look, I tracked down my dad.
is, but we like Patty Spivot.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't that hurt a little bit just to think about?
I know, man, but sometimes, like, he can't always have, a Felicity situation.
Oh, I know. I actually, I saw one article referred to her as, we can't lose her, she's a national treasure. And I thought, this guy gets it.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'll go that far.
I love Felicity, but I'm willing to throw her under the bus.
For the right reason, not for
the
Damien
right reason,
Dark getting back at Oliver Queen's campaign. Are you kidding me? No. I'll tell you this right now. Like, I will make amends for being wrong about it, but Felicity's not dead.
No.
I mean, if I'm wrong about that, fuck me, and I will fucking pay my penance, but she's not dead.
Well, I mean, you're not going to pay your penance.
I don't know who I'd pay it to.
Yeah.
To whom I would pay it, whatever.
I mean, to be fair, Matt and Jeff over in the Marvel cast, they speculate constantly, and they're almost never right. I'm serious. They come up with some crazy thoughts. Like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, but I like their crazy ass thoughts. They're fun, man.
They are fun, but they're always wrong.
But that's the beauty of a crazy ass thought.
Oh, I sit and laugh for hours thinking, there's no way this is true.
Bollocks,
No Ward
I say. Bollocks.
No Grant Ward is not Taskmaster.
Right, yeah.
No.
Okay, yeah.
But they're a lot of fun to think about. But yeah, they don't, there's, I swear, there's nothing, shit, man, it's like the end of American Psycho or something, man. There's no repercussion for your bad call. Your penance is you do another podcast and make another bad call the next week. It's okay.
No, I like to think that if I really stake, relatively anything on it, that I'll come back and say, hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Really thought that was going to happen. It didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If anything, I think, and this is true of the guys at the MCU cast as well. I'm not being a dick or anything. Like,
no, we speculate all the fucking time.
Right, right. I think their speculation and ours is better than what's actually on any of these shows.
Probably, yeah.
Most of the time.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, they have one TV show two TV shows to deal with over there right now.
Now they have several at different points, but yeah.
Yeah, but the main Shield and Agent Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into Daredevil and Jessica Jones, but I don't consider that specifically a TV show. Not that it's not in TV format, none of that. It's just that it drops differently. You don't have to do the week-to-week thing. Mm-hmm. You could, but then everyone would be wondering, they drop 13 episodes at a time. It would take you 3 months to actually sit back and, peter the episodes out. By the time you got to the finale, everyone would be trying to remember what the fuck happened in the finale. Mm-hmm. You kind of just have to drop it with it. With something like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, come on, man. Those are good shows. They actually just are pretty damn good shows. Mm-hmm. They've got flaws, don't get me wrong. If me and you were talking about them, there's a lot of things we would fucking rip apart and have a lot of fun with. But
Actually, I'm not sure there is on Agent Carter. That's a pretty tight show.
Agent Carter is really tight. Yeah.
It's a pretty tight show.
Probably not the soundbite I would like to choose. But it's a really tight show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean anything bad by that. It's tightly written. It's well written. Executed, man. Good gracious.
I phrased it in a way that was open to interpretation that I would not appreciate.
Right.
But Film of Spirit, people. It's a good show. It's a damn good show. And, God, just damn good example of fucking female power back in the day, man.
Yeah.
It's not like Jessica Jones dropped the ball there. Hell, even Daredevil, like Rosario Dawson, that's a character with true agency. They've done a lot of good for that. And, they really have. You know, they've fucking held the torch high.
And, you know, they are doing with that what we wish Supergirl would do, which is just write good characters. Don't keep going on about them being females. Now, Agent Carter can get away with it because it's set in the 50s.
Yeah. There are whole plot points that are based around that problem, really.
And they still do it less than Supergirl. Or at least less petty than Supergirl.
Yes, actually. When Agent Carter, does something that shouldn't be possible with her, contemporary expectations of a woman, she kind of shrugs and walks off screen. I mean, there are moments in the first season where I can pinpoint these moments for you. They happen. She just and has some quippy comment and walks away, but it's never grandstanding.
Yeah.
And there are moments of Supergirl that have been a little bit grandstanding, where I would really appreciate if they just kind of dug into her as a character and moved on to the meta concept of it.
And honestly, I've been less intrigued by the grandstanding, and I've been more forgiving of the grandstanding, but more annoyed by the moments where it's just clearly whiny. It's not even grandstanding. It's just like, now you're just whining about the problem.
Well, to some extent, there's a moment where whining is absolutely... truly not whining. It's just stating the problem as it exists. And then there's a moment after that where it's, possibly whining.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we should get back to the show.
Do we have more news? For God's sake.
Yes, of course we do.
Can I just apologize right now to anyone who's weathered this storm with us? We said it's been a minute since we've done the news, and this is clearly where we just screw around and talk about shit we care about.
Yeah, I mean, So, they released the new Hawkman, the new Hawk logo, Hawkman, Hawkgirl logo for Legends of Tomorrow. Looks pretty decent. I mean, it looks like Hawkman, Hawkgirl logo. I don't know. Joe Dante, the director of the Gremlins he's got to direct an episode of Legends of Tomorrow. He's got to direct episode 108, Night of the Hawk. I don't know. That's pretty interesting, I guess. I'm a little bit afraid, I guess. Not terribly worried. I have to imagine he had to have grown as a director since then.
Sure.
There's a whole bunch of rumors about... Well, okay. There's a whole bunch of rumors. One, that Legends of Tomorrow will not get a second season because it's so expensive. We talked about that before, but there are also rumors that they're going to be bringing in Huntress and Deathstroke and John Diggle and Vixen and Katana and Booster Gold, Karate Kid and John Constantine into season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. Carlos Valdes, the guy that plays Cisco on The Flash, he says he already did an interesting take on his character in Legends of Tomorrow, which makes me think it's going to be something from the future or another universe. That's pretty cool. Victor Garber, who plays Dr. Stein, he posted a picture of himself with Robbie Amell on Instagram and says reunited and it feels so good. Meanwhile, Robbie posted a picture on his Instagram account of the Firestorm containment unit that says "Hello, old friend." So I guess Robbie's coming back.
I've been living under the presumption that he will come back in some capacity.
Oh, sure. And it's gonna be weird when he comes back and Caitlin's making out with Jay Garrick. By the way, have you heard this big rumor that there are all these people speculating that Jay Garrick is gonna be Zoom?
No.
Yeah. I don't want it.
Just no.
It's not confirmed by any stretch.
2 points.
But yeah.
They're different heights. They have different color eyes.
Okay. Well, who has the colored eyes that Zoom has?
So far, Barry Allen proper, Barry Allen Nannies, and Harrison Wells.
Okay. Question answered.
I think. Really got to go back and look at that one, but I'm
I
pretty
think he's
sure
got-
they were all brown, dark brown eyes.
No, I think they were black. I think those things have like contacts in them or something. Man, it looks
Still different
messed
height.
up.
Jay Garrick is obviously a tall man.
He is, but that could just be camera angles messing with us.
No,
I mean, I know he's tall.
Look, you've seen use him as a barometer. You've seen Harry Wells and Jay Garrick on screen, and you've seen Harry Wells and Zoom on screen. Those are different motherfuckers.
Melinda Clark has been added to the cast of Gotham as Grace Van Dahl, a power-hungry woman who plays the perfect hostess and wife while she plots how to cheat and kill to get what she wants.
Yeah, if you've been paying close attention to all of Gotham's lore, you'll recognize her from being one of those people you don't fucking recognize because they're making shit up now.
Some good news, though. Bruno Heller was talking about Bruce Wayne for when the show comes back, and he says Bruce is going to get to the very heart of the mystery who killed his parents, and there are amazing scenes coming up. He equally promised that the show would get to Indian Hill, but importantly, Bruce is going to get back to Wayne Enterprises and start digging into that more.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Bruno, that's not news. We know that. You had Lucius Fox come on screen saying, I fixed the hard drive, and then you didn't touch it.
To be fair, that, like, you mentioned that line, and I went, oh yeah, like, there's so much happened in that last episode, I had forgotten that.
I know. I saw him and thought, I don't know. Maybe this is like a thread I had running, but I saw him, and every time I've seen him, though, since that conversation, and, well, except the conversation about a kipper, but every time I've seen him since early on this season, I've thought, how are you doing with the hard drive? Like, that would have been my first thought if I saw him. How you doing with the hard drive? Every time.
Yeah.
Stuck out to me. But yeah, we obviously should be going into, you've said you fixed the hard drive. Okay, so now we've got a basement full of lots of computer equipment, a hard drive that Alfred may have some splaining to do over, a bulletproof vest that seems to have been pretty well riddled and not necessarily bulletproof anymore, and the equipment for several blood transfusions. Like, if all that doesn't say vigilante in the family, I don't know what does.
It could easily say red herring.
That's a lot of red packed in pouches, kept at a specific temperature in a refrigerator, ready to go into an IV worth of herring.
More than we're accustomed to with these shows?
Even for that, maybe?
Yeah, alright. Well, I don't know. I will say every time I see the cat who plays Lucius, every time I see Lucius on the show, I just think he blames Obama for everything. And then remember, oh wait, nope, that's him on the newsroom. Never mind.
Yeah. He was a fun little character over there.
He was. Just always earnestly pitching stories that Will McAvoy just couldn't get behind.
Right.
Like, what is happening? No, we're not doing that story. That's not even a story. That's a rampant conspiracy theory.
Right.
I have sources that say otherwise. Yeah, on InfoWars, go away.
How many of them were clicks from Drudge Report? All right, then.
Gosh. Michael Bowen from Breaking Bad has been cast as Matches Malone. So it looks like there is a Matches Malone in the Gotham
Malone
universe.
was not a mislead. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. Gosh, I can't remember what they did in the comics with Matches Malone. There was a real Matches Malone, and they actually did an issue. This is like pre-52, so, or pre-New 52, I should say. So, grain of salt, but I can't remember what that story was. But there was a story of how Bruce started using that. I think he was like a gangster that died or something, and actually, I want to say he was a gangster that died and actually sacrificed himself for a good cause or something, and Bruce just started using that. He hid the fact that the dude died and started using it.
In his head, he was like, a spirit animal. I will honor you.
Right. I don't really remember, though. I don't remember how exactly that went down. I'll have to look into that. Lori Petty is also going to be playing a criminal who provides young Bruce with some key information in his quest for vengeance. I don't know what the hell that means. It says her character is named Jerry, and she is the eccentric hostess of an underground club where Gotham City's undesirables gather to indulge their bloodlust.
Well, we don't have enough villains in season 2, so yeah, go ahead and put her in there.
Right?
If anything's been lacking from season 2, it's
Right.
an impetus for villainy. So yeah.
Now, some of you also may have seen like a headline or something that said like, "Oh, Mr. Freeze, his motives revealed." Yeah, that's not true. They didn't reveal anything. Like it literally said like Bruno Heller literally says, "Yes, he has an agenda," and then the next line in the article is, "But he did not reveal what it would be."
Right.
So beware clickbait, y'all. It's also a good indication when they call him Dr. Freeze instead of Mr. Freeze in the headline.
That's actually a good point.
I think
If
it's a pretty
something's
good point.
like if the name isn't even correct in the headline, it's lies squared.
Man, can you believe though that it's like, man, we're like 4 months away from Batman v Superman.
Let's see, 12, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 4 months. I can in the sense that the trailers are ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're picking their shot with where the trailers show up.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't gotten to. It seems like usually right before a film hits, really hits, in the 4 weeks preceding it or so, there'll be 1 or 2 TV spots. There's like a kind of minute and 2-minute version kind of thing, where you're going to see it every fucking where before it actually hits the screen. It was definitely going to be one of those movies where they throw like another 20 million at it just because who the hell cares? Whatever. It'll come back.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to see it. There's going to be a ridiculous ramp up, like late February, pretty much as soon as Valentine's wears off.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous ramp up. Actually, I say Valentine's. What I really mean is as soon as Deadpool wears off, going to be ridiculous ramp up to, and now there's Batman vs Superman.
Yep.
I've asked you about this before, but and you thought I wasn't crazy, but I'm sorry. Like, I have so low a set of expectations for a Deadpool film, and it looks that fun anyway. That
Yeah.
I think the amount of like overall enjoyment that I'll gain out of the film is probably going to be higher than anything else. It's probably going to beat Civil War and BVS because
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what happens in the Deadpool film. I don't
Yeah.
care. It can just be fun for fun's sake, and I'll enjoy the hell out of it.
I think like man, the way they portrayed him in X-Men Origins Wolverine was so bad.
How do you put stitches on the merc with the mouth?
How do you do so many
Done.
things that they did to him? And
I agree. There's plenty of things. That's my leading point. You shut his mouth.
look, like Deadpool, like I actually do have certain expectations for Deadpool that I hope they address.
Should break the fourth
And,
wall.
like, well, obviously,
Should
I think
laugh
he
at
will
killing
do that.
people.
I know he'll do both of those things. I've seen it in the trailer already. What I want is I want him to address how stupid it was the way they portrayed him in X-Men Origins.
Yeah,
I want him to address.
That one will gain my heart. It really will.
I want him to address the bad continuity in the Fox X-Men films, and I want him to address that he can't use. I would love if he just brought it's like Chris Evans from Captain America or something just popped in for a second. Like he's like, let's call Cap. Oh wait, we can't, and like throw him aside. That would be great. I want him to truly I want them to really embrace that fourth wall and just really play with it. Like otherwise, I know that they have some X-Men characters in there, and that's what I really just don't care about. Like they have a couple of X-Men. Colossus is in this thing.
Sure, sounds great. I mean, unless it's
Yeah,
cable.
that's fine. Whatever, but I don't know, man. I just there's a part of me that doesn't care, but I am looking really forward. I am very much looking forward to Deadpool, and I think it's going to be a fun ride, but I don't think it's going to be like anything universe bending. No, nothing crazy. It's just going to be like a really funny movie, and maybe the first real comedy superhero film.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. It can
Well,
be.
I have hope that it will set a precedent for what you can do with a comedy in this context. Mm-hmm. You can have a guy make jokes about people shitting themselves. when they come up again. Come on, man. And he should be the kind of guy that's going to have the fourth wall capacity. And I think something I might be annoyed with if they don't do is that this motherfucker hallucinates all the time. Can't trust his own memories. I'll be a little disappointed if they don't use that.
He has like 3 or 4 different personalities in his own head that he's talking to. Like,
and they kind of fluctuate. Because every time he has like a truly like traumatic, like a true TBI, he kind of reformulates his memories. Pretty close to where they started, but not necessarily there. So, one of the voices that you've been hearing for years could suddenly vanish. Another one shows up. Whatever.
But they all like chimichangas.
Right. There's very little like you're beholden to. I'd really appreciate it if they did the hallucination thing. Would be key to me. I'd really love that, and I wouldn't hate it if they actually brought up the true angel of death and his love affair. That'd be great. But
that would be amazing. Not
sure they're going to do that. By the way, that's in the game, which was a pretty hilarious waste of 12 hours of my life. I regret nothing. Actually, I've played that twice, so at this point, it's a day of my life that I regretted not one single thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I played a little bit of that game with you at some point, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun and really funny. Fuck it.
And the first thing that
probably $25 at a used store at this point. Go drop that money, shit.
Yeah. The first thing I just
really do with an Xbox 360? It's basically a paperweight now. Can't play Arkham Knight on it. Can't play Fallout 4 on it. What the fuck are you doing with this machine?
Enjoying GTA.
Right.
I mean, shit has gotten so real on these video game systems. Have you seen all of the stuff for like the Star Wars Battlefront and GTA 5 real life stuff?
No, I haven't.
Like the guy, he did it for GTA 5, and I'm pretty sure he did it on the PC version. But he created like 4K, gosh, I can't remember exactly what it was. 4K resolution, and I don't remember the specs on it, but he actually made it look like real life. Like it looked like a film, like you were just like walking. It looked really close to real life. And then he even like upped the ante and did like the Star Wars Battlefront. It looks like way better than the actual game looks. Nice. It's a mod, and it looks perfect. It looks so good, man. If I am quite honestly surprised that some gaming company hasn't snapped him up, like just from this, because his shit has been going viral. I've seen it on like the top 10 on like Facebook's trending list for like the last couple weeks. Every time I sign on, it's like Star Wars Battlefront, real life, blah blah blah. I'm like, how are you still just a dude?
They will. They really will. I mean, last 2 seasons of Doctor Who that was some dude's YouTube fantasy.
I know.
Shit matters now.
Hell,
throw it out there. Fuck. What's the worst that could happen?
Right. But anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Probably CC on Screen News. Completely lost.
We're all out of news.
Oh, are we actually out of news? Okay, well,
we are.
No, well, it's been just short of forever. We should probably call it.
We should probably call it. It's one of those. I've actually had some fun this episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I usually don't.
And
that's a joke.
The length. We've actually matched 2 weeks worth of length, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we have. So let's go for another couple hours.
Yeah, we fell into the same trap that we wondered. Well,
we did go off on a few tangents though, and I think it'll be all right this week. Honestly, do. But
I mean, once we start talking, God knows.
Yeah, no. Actually, Matt and I were talking the other day, and we actually thought this might be kind of fun to have I don't know. I'm behind on S.H.I.E.L.D., so I haven't been listening to the MCU cast for the last few weeks.
Sure.
Because I don't want spoilers because they review the shows. And he may have mentioned it, but we were talking about how it might be fun to have a competition to see how many people which one of us can get the most Facebook likes. We are currently sitting at like 120 Facebook likes, and I think they're at like 390 something, 398, 400 or something, or maybe 298. So, like, yeah, if you guys want to, like, run over to the Facebook page and, like, help us get up there, maybe we can beat the MCU cast. They're like a year ahead of us on likes. So.
I would not mind beating the MCU cast on that.
Right?
It's sheer heart, too. Like, I know I said it was almost marginal, but, you know, down to rights, if it was a pure, like, two-face fucking flip of the coin, yeah, I choose DC. If you told me I could only have one set of comics versus the other, I would choose DC. Come on.
Well, naturally.
It's a better set of material overall, I think.
Well, yeah, and we've already started the podcast, so.
I wonder if I would have gotten off my ass and started the MCU cast. Don't know in particular. I think I care about these characters so much that I was like, oh god, I've got to dig in on this.
You know, like, I do say that I teeter between the two, but to be honest, like, the most exciting thing about all of this Marvel stuff coming out is, like, with each success of the Marvel movies, I just kept going, man, they've got to do Justice League. There's no way they're not going to do Justice League now.
Right.
And that was the most exciting part of it for me. It's just like, oh, man, just come on.
I really do. I love the relatability of Marvel, but I also, come on, it's fiction to some extent. You go big or don't go at all. And yeah, I love the gods and monsters aspect of DC. I love it so much. Like, that's a lot of a fair amount of the, you know, super anything population of Marvel is kind of mutant based. Just
and they don't even have that anymore, man.
Yeah,
they don't even have that anymore.
It's all gotten weird over there. But it's not like it hadn't gotten weird over DC. So these are weird times in general. If you're absolutely up to date with the monthlies, these are strange times.
As far as the 4-color counterparts of all of these cinematic iterations are concerned, man, comics are always going to be a little weird, man. They just are. They got probably 5 or 6, maybe even more Batman titles going at any given time, and all of them done by different people, and they can't keep their continuity straight.
But at this point, like, Batman's sitting in the goddamn Mobius chair, and that has to mean something, right?
Yeah. They took Bat God to a level that Grant Morrison hadn't gotten to yet. That's pretty damned impressive, if you ask me.
That's got to count for something. I don't know. I really have always liked the stories of. I've liked DC's content a lot more. I've liked their character design so much more on many occasions. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of nuance that Marvel is able to put in because they're so relatable, and you can put in these little character situations that may not make any sense if you go down to the DC's format. You know, if you. You know, you can talk about Peter Parker and a couple of family troubles, and, you know, hell, you can talk about some of the Marvel characters and, you know, their mill choices, and it makes sense. And if I was talking about Bruce Wayne and do you want, you know, caviar or foie gras, you know, that wouldn't be a discussion that merits any fucking page content. Like, that shouldn't be worth a frame, but no matter what you can talk about.
I mean, it's just like the interview that Kevin Smith on Fat Man on Batman gave with Joe Quesada. He was talking about, like, back in the 90s, and he was he got back into it was like a 3-part episode, 2 to 3-part episode. Yeah, but he went back and I think it was the first part of that interview where he kind of went back and said, well, look, I got back into comics and started looking at DC, and their stories were better, but Marvel's art was better. But, like, the Marvel stories sucked, but the DC stories were well written. We got to do that. We got to, and I was not there, but I was reading Marvel comics extensively. Like, I was reading the hell out of Marvel comics and DC comics. There was a point where I got pretty much almost every damn thing that the two companies published at the same time.
Right.
So
it was a very full box.
I mean, when Joey became the editor-in-chief over there at Marvel, like, things got real weird for a minute. And I gotta be honest, I thought they were kind of doing a better job right before he took over. But I don't know. But yeah, a lot of things got more interesting over there. I don't know, but I agree with his sentiment, though, that you got to take the good writing and got to have the good art as well. You want the pretty pictures with the good writing. You got to have the relatability on both ends. And, one of my biggest things is I would love to take the basic, like, construct of Spider-Man the character and put it into a Firestorm matrix.
Right.
I think Ronnie Raymond or Jason Rush or whoever, that would. I mean, hell, man. I mean, Over in the Firestorm comics, you always had Ronnie Raymond talking to Professor Stein. Stein was just a big floating head, giving him advice. And over on Spider-Man, he'd be zipping around the city, and you just had a giant Uncle Ben head telling him, with great power comes great responsibility. Both cats were scientists. I don't see much of a damn difference anyway. Let's just push it a little further to that end. But
one more active, one more passive conscience. That's almost really it.
But both companies have definitely got their ups and downs. But yeah, guys, just go over there or go over to our DC on Screen Facebook page and give us those likes and share us with people that you think would dig our stuff, and let's beat the MCU cast on that. It's a friendly competition. I don't even know if they're even talking about it. Knowing Matt, he probably forgot we ever had the conversation.
Honest to God, I doubt they're talking about it, which means that's pretty much our only hope. Sneak up on them.
Yeah, sneak attack, guys.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Matt listens to our show. Anyway, if you don't want to go like us on
Matt
Facebook,
there was like a Marvel spoiler. Like we're saying this for you, Matt, in particular. Close your ears, man. Earmuffs. This is a major Marvel spoiler for like Daredevil season 2. Like we learned some shit about the Punisher, blah blah blah. Just I know you don't want to hear about it, and then do the whole pitch.
Right. Yeah, we should. You know what? I think I would. I'd rather
I know who
have
dies in Civil War. Put your earmuffs on.
I think I'd rather have the download. I'd rather have the download. I'll accept the competition for the download.
You make choices in life.
You make choices. Anyway, you can find all of our episodes at DCOnScreen.com. We are a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network. God, things are going to get weird for just a minute, for a few weeks. Here in the wonderful, happy, jolly, spirity holiday season, whatever.
The island of misfit toys that we exist on.
Right. We do live on the island of misfit toys.
Mm-hmm.
They're all Batman toys, but I'm serious. I've got a superpowered penguin and a superpowers Robin hanging out above my head right now. So. Sorry, superheroes.
I've still got a bunch of like 1989 Happy Meal toys that they're sure as hell misfits now because they're missing shit.
Yeah.
Penguin ain't shooting nothing now, buddy.
You got to take care of your shit, man. You got to take care of it.
I was very young. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were all young at some point. You got to learn that responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, as Spider-Man taught us.
Mm-hmm. Batman rarely teaches that lesson. He just sort of walks away when you've disappointed him and leaves you to understand.
No, yeah. Batman's major lesson is expect the worst. That way, when something good happens, it'll come as a surprise.
Yeah.
It'll be a pleasant surprise.
He's the under-the-cowl OG Joe West.
That'd be interesting. Jesse L. Martin playing Batman. Be the one time I was actually okay with them not putting the white stuff in their eyes. Like, no, I gotta see that weeping Batman.
No. I want as much of the man under this cowl as possible, please. Trust me, it'll only benefit the episode. Don't worry.
It's just Jesse L. Martin with like like one of those almost a Geordie LaForge eye visor up over his head that has a couple of bat ears on it.
Right?
Like just like why don't you have a full mask? And then he just gets all glassy eyed and you're like, "Oh, that's why." That's why. Like he doesn't scare criminals so much as he just guilts them into submission.
Yeah, we
You've disappointed Batman.
Yeah. We have a whole bit about that I'd like to write up into comic form almost. Just remember, you remember the bit about like if he was the warden of a prison kind of thing.
No, I don't.
Oh no, you could get years off your sentence if you just agreed to have like a poster of Joe crying at you on your on your wall.
I do remember that. Okay, yeah. Good job.
I remembered our old bit.
Yay! Yeah. We talk too much about how much we love Joe. We really do. Like, I can't remember our bits now. I don't remember what was on the show, what was off the show. Because believe it or not, everyone, we actually talk more than what you hear. We talk like... Jason will call me, are you ready to do the show? I'd be like, yeah, and then we'll talk for like an hour and a half, 2 hours about what we're going to talk about a lot of times. And then we won't even get to that stuff. We'll forget about that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk for like 3 hours after the show, and we'll forget about that for the next episode. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, on average, for every, say, 1 hour of content we've put out, there's probably another 2 hours of us talking about something that was related, but never made it even close to to an actual cast of any kind.
And, it used to be a little better, but now we both have headsets, so now we have both hands available. We can function and discuss Batman at the same time, which is it's ridiculous. No one else in our lives can talk to us.
Children of the modern world, truly.
Yeah, there are days of the week where we just don't call each other, because if we do, that's the end of that day.
I've started taking true advantage of the headphones, though. Because, I use... At this point, I use like the LG tones kind of thing.
Sure.
It's just a phone that rests on my neck almost effortlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what I got.
So, say for instance, I'm talking to someone. Well, somebody else comes into the room, and I kind of put up the classic phone symbol, which I guess doubles as cowabunga. If
it does,
if you came from back in those days.
I thought it doubled as hang 10.
Yes, I remember that one. But I'll put up the classic like phone symbol kind of thing, like yeah, I'm on the phone. But very shortly after I started doing the complete hands-free, I realized, wait a second, I can lie to people. So I can be A, not doing anything at all, or B, talking to someone and you can't tell the fucking difference. Because at this point, people will walk into a room with me and I'll finish a sentence. By that, I mean I will make up the end to a fucking sentence that appears to imply that I'm talking to somebody else. And
that's pretty awful.
Yeah, but I just need you to get. I need you to get out of my earshot kind of space. I need you out of the place where I can make vocal sounds and you hear them, because I'm going to be very quiet suddenly and be suddenly listening to a book or whatever the fuck song I'm listening to at the time. But these things are...
I just think it's great that your fiance doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I'll be fair. I have never and don't intend to ever lie about that particular situation. But coworkers, different conversation entirely.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That one walks in, I have my attention set. My coworkers walk in, I already know what you're fucking doing. If I don't, then I'll pay attention. But I usually know what you're doing. So...
interrupting you. That's what they're doing.
Right. So I'll adjust myself accordingly. These things are a blessing. That's what I'm saying. You get a headset, learn to lie. It'll benefit you. Get a bunch of audiobooks. I love the fuck out of them. I really do.
I I can't advocate learning to lie. I just can't. And also, I'm a little worried that you've found another method of engulfing yourself in narrative and pushing out the ones you love. But
I'm simply obfuscating reality. I'm adjuncting.
Right.
It's Toto.
We are DC On Screen. We are a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network. I've already said that, but we've gone off on another tangent. Sure. So.
And we are currently listening to Batman audiobooks instead of actually doing the thing I purport to be doing right now. By we, I mean me.
What he's saying. Yeah, whatever. Don't speak for me, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got you in one ear and I've got the bat in the other.
Do you really?
Sometimes. Every once in a very long while.
All right. Wow.
I'm not sure if you disrespect or respect my choice more.
That it actually does explain a lot of our communication problems. All right. I don't know when we'll be back. We'll probably, at the very least, we'll be back with another episode, another news episode.
Presumably shorter.
In a week's time.
Yeah.
But, presumably shorter. So until that time, keep some DC on your screen.
Go Ford for your next truck or SUV and find an easier way to buy with Woodhouse Ford today. Lease a 2023 Ford F-150 Super Crew STX 4x4 for $419 per month for 36 months and 7,500 miles per year. $3,000 down or trade equity, first payment, and $299 doc fee due at signing. And experience the convenience of buying with Woodhouse Ford today. Security deposit waived. Tax, title, license extra with approved credit. Expires 10/31/2023.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.